Ask the Chief with Jimmy Stewart.
Well, hey there, folks. It's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. Today's video, we're going to do episode 4 of
Ask the Chief with Jimmy Stewart.
Yes. And to be quite honest with you guys, I don't really know why I decided to do this series, because honestly, not that many people watch it, but some of you are diehards and some of you ask a lot of questions, and I thought it would be a fun way to answer your questions, without trying to answer all those questions in review videos and things like that. So I just figured it'd be a fun way to do it. Like I said, back when in my Navy days, it was always, the answer to every question was always, I don't know, ask the chief. So, and when you became the chief, you had the answers, or you'd made up the answers. And I always thought it would be funny to try to do something like that. If you don't think it's funny, that's fine. Like I said, there are people that like it, there's people that hate it. So I'm going to continue to do it until I stop hating it. Until I stop liking it. However that's going to go. Anyway, this is episode 4 of Ask the Chief. And we're going to talk about picks and pedals, because I get lots of questions, and I'm not really sure why people ask me about picks, but I guess it's important to some. To me, picks are, very personal. They're kind of like strings. You could have different ones for different guitars and different gauges for different things that you want to do. It's more of a personal preference. I, however, pretty much use the same kind of picks on all my guitars, and I use Jim Dunlop's. Hey there, folks. I don't always play with the pick, but when I do, I use Jim Dunlop's. And they are a 60 millimeter is my preferred pick. It's kind of a light. You could actually break these because they're fairly light. They're fairly fragile. The little heavier ones, these Jim Dunlops, the darker gray color, are a 73.73 millimeter. These are 0.60 millimeter. I prefer the more bend in them. This one doesn't bend as much, but it's still got some bend to it. I don't like a heavy pick. I like these, and I like them because they have a gruff surface to them. They're not slick and slippery like something like this. These have, the Jim Dunlop and the USA nylon. It says on there is raised, so you can feel it. It's got a rough edge. I'll give you an up close shot with the camera to show you. But they have a raised edge so that when you are playing with it, it stays pretty much in your hand. I don't drop these a lot. And I have explained before that my picking hand technique is not orthodox at all. I do some weird stuff, so I'm not going to explain to you why or how. It's just what it works for me. And I hold my pick very, very close. I don't use a lot of the pick at all. It's mostly tucked into my hand, and I use the very edge. And it just works for me, okay? And that way, if I'm going to go down and do some, I guess I should turn my amp on, but I wasn't planning on doing that. If I'm doing some finger picking, that pick just gets tucked away, and then if I need to bring it out, I just bring it out. Let's turn the amp on. All right, and that's the other thing we're going to talk about today too, well, folks. It's picks and pedals, because again, I got a lot of questions about my pedal rack, and I've done a couple of quick, overviews of what I'm using, and again, this is in constant flux. Well, not constant flux, but it's been in flux for a couple of years anyway, because I have my old Boss setup with all my old Boss pedals, and I still use some of those. But this is kind of in the last couple of years, and what I tried to do was make a couple of different racks, one for the studio here and one to have, and I can take with me for live gigs or other studio stuff if I need to travel. And And the live gig rig is kind of similar to the studio rig, except for a couple things, and I'll show you that. But let me tune this up here real quick. Actually, it's in tune, except for the bass E. I just got this guitar a little while ago, and I've done nothing to it so far. If you haven't checked out the review on this, check it out. I'll leave a link. Great guitar from the folks at Monoprice. All right, let me turn this other stuff on here, and I'll show you. Whoa, what we got going. Picks. Anyway, so on a pick, that's how I hold it. I slide it in when I'm going for something on a finger picking type of thing. Let me get something clean here for you. And I'm using the Ho tone down here, and I'll show you that to you. Kind of separate from the effects rack. What I'm doing now is I'm running it, that whole thing is run out through my loop station and then into the effects of the Monoprice. So I'm really using the top of my finger, and you will, I see it, is that I end up scraping my fingernail off quite a bit, and so I use the top of that finger and the edge of the pick. That's really all I got to say about picks. I mean, I don't know how else to answer the questions. That's what I use. Again, I'll leave a nice up-close photo of both the 60 millimeter Jim Dunlop and this is a 73 millimeter. And I buy them by the bags, so I got the bag of these around here someplace. Let me see. Yep. So you can see, I have quite a few of them, and I've been using them years and years and years and years. That's the other one. Okay, pedals. Let me try to give you a decent look at the pedals I'm using down here. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the B-roll camera here to give you a little bit better look at these pedals. So what I've done in the last couple of years is I've kind of separated my rigs into two separate rigs. So I've got two pedal boards set up here. And so this board here is the one I usually use in the studio here, and it's very basic, pretty much. It's got a basic Amazon style tuner, Amazon tuner that works very, very well. I've got 2 graphic EQs. One is for bass, the other is for my guitars. And again, those are from Azor. This is a drive I got from Amazon. This is when Amazon was coming out with their pedals. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but I was one of the testers for their Amazon pedals. So this is their dry pedal. It's actually very nice. This is the Azor distortion pedal. This is the, I can't remember which one this is. This is their octave fuzz. You can do regular fuzz and octave fuzz, and I just got this not that long ago, so I don't have it tied down because I'm trading this in and out with this particular this delay, and this is the analogy. But anyway, so that's not permanent yet. Again, I swapped those around. These I've had for a while, these Sonic Cakes, and I really like the Sonic Cake stuff, as you can probably tell, because I'm using not only the Twiggy Blues Sonic Cake, which has the compressor, the Blues Overdrive, the Slapback Echo, and the Air, which is a reverb section, but I'm also going into the Sonic Cake Rock Stage, which will have chorus up here. This has got a little bit heavier distortion than the Blues does. This is more of an overdrive. This is more of a distortion pedal. This also has a nice delay and reverb. And you've also got cab sims on here where you can simulate cabinets either on or off. Of course, I keep these off when I'm running it through my monoprice amp. And so now down here, this is my Impero. Now the Impero is a modeler as well, but it's got all kinds of different effects that's built into it. And you've got a volume pedal or a swell pedal over there, 4 banks that you can use. This is the Impero. I have another Impero over here, which is the Impero 1. These are basically the same, and I wanted them in both of my racks because I can take that one with me. This one stays in the studio. And basically they're the same thing. The Impero 1 is a smaller version. You can see it only has the 3 buttons on it. This has got the 4, but it's got the same technology built in. It's got the same computer power. It's got the same engine driving the sounds and all that kind of stuff. The difference is on this one, I've got more outputs. I have XLR outputs. As you can see, I have XLR outputs balanced to go to a recording rack if I wanted to. This also has MIDI and a couple of other, mostly just the output side of it is what's different. The actual guts of it are the same. And again, it has one more foot switch option on it. This has only got the 3. It doesn't have all the outputs on the back. It doesn't have MIDI. It's just an in and out, but it has the same engine, the same technology as the Impero. That's just the Impero 1. So it's a little bit smaller, better to have with me in a tight situation. And then what I've done is I've got the Impero switch. I can add more foot switches. You can assign these to this, or I can bring it down to this one as well. These both, by the way, have loopers in them, which I don't use because I have the Boss RC5 loop station that I use mostly. I very rarely, in fact, I don't think I've ever used the loopers in either one of the Imperos, but they're supposed to be very nice. I just haven't used them. Then over here, I've got my AB foot switch, again, more of a live situation. I have another delay over there. That's the, which one is that? That's the Flamma, which is a nice pedal. And then I've got my old compression sustainer, my CS2 from my old board, the Boss. And I've got the Sonic Cake up here. Now this, I haven't mounted yet. Again, because I want this on my live board, because most of my stuff, most of the playing I will be doing live, or I have done live, is acoustic electric, one-man band type thing. So this is kind of like my Sonic Cake pre. This gives me my preamp over there on the side. It gives me chorus, it gives me delay, and it gives me a nice reverb. Very similar to these pedals from Sonic Cake, except this is more designed for acoustic electric, Piazzo type guitars playing. And so that's going to be on the live board over here. And again, I just haven't brought it down on the board yet because I'm still playing around with how I want things set up. This is a Ghost Fireboard here. And this is a Fangoa, I think. They're very similar. The Fangoa is a little bit, doesn't come up quite as high. And I'm using an 8 power supply on the backs of both of these. Let me give you a quick look at the back. This is the Ghost Fireboard. And Van Gogh, I think Van Gogh or Van Gogh is the maker of this board. So, there you go. The Ampero also has a tuner built into it. Right now it's on tuner, and that kind of disconnects the sound, as you will. And of course that goes into my looper. And then the looper output, like I said, this whole rack goes up, and I run that off the effects channel of the Monoprice 15, or, you know, the Mackie, however you want to do it. Normally when I'm doing backing tracks and things like that, I have them pumping out through the Mackie here. And I use a couple of different cabinets. There's a custom cabinet over there, as you can see. And I also have the one right here behind me. And there's my Laney. That's a 212 Laney. That's a 30 watt valve amp. Very nice amp. Again, it's just a little too big for doing stuff here in the studio. And my little 5-watt that I just haven't used much. People that can complain, and Jimmy, how come you got that 5-watt back there and you're not using it? And well, I do use it. I just don't do enough of it here when I'm doing reviews. I tend to try to keep it as simple as I can. And everything's set up right now to run through the 15, so that's just what I've been using. And of course, the cabinet over here is the Celestion. That's the Monoprice extension cabinet. That's got the vintage V30 in it, and I use that as well. And of course, I got a Boss Katana sitting over there that I've used very, very little, unfortunately. Again, it's an okay amp. I just not real happy with the sound of it. And of course, my Positive Grid here that I've done a number of reviews on, and I like the amp. It just gets, again, it gets too much. It's too much dial twirling and, you know, apps you have to open up and what have you. It just, again, I'd rather just turn my amp on, plug and play, you know, and off you go. That's kind of why I prefer just to do what I got here. Okay, so hopefully that helped answer some of the questions on picks and some of the questions on the pedal boards that I use down here. Now, it has come to my attention on another couple of questions as well. And this is actually quite important because it's come to my attention that this year, 2022, is the 40th anniversary of this guy. It was 40 years ago that I did my first album. This here in the United Kingdom in 1982. I actually started working on this in 1979, believe it or not. But again, you know, you try to go through all the things that you've read and heard and thought about in the music business. You know, back when I was playing in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, I didn't want to have any of those pitfalls. You know, I started my own label to avoid that kind of stuff. And then started working on this around 1979, doing the backing tracks, doing the original, you know, demos and all that kind of stuff, and sent it out to everybody. I got all kinds of stories on this album, folks. So we'll talk about it later on as we go through it, but not in this particular video. But I wanted to let you know that it is 40 years this year, so we're going to do some Ask the Chief things on the old Cordially album here. You know, how it got done and all the pitfalls we ran through trying to get this done, and you know, all the things that have happened since then. But a pretty cool deal. This is just the actual cover. I got the album. I actually have the, again, I'll tell you all kinds of stories about this. But all the lyrics printed on the inside of a double fold album. For your first album, being an unknown in Great Britain at the time, it was very unusual. But again, we'll talk about this later, okay? 40th year anniversary of the Cordially album, and we'll answer some questions about that as well. Lots of fun. Lots of work, but lots of fun. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed today's picks and pedals, little questions and answers on our 4th episode of
Ask the Chief with Jimmy Stewart.
There you go. So until next time, folks, it's Jimmy Stewart saying take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon, all right? Bye-bye for now. Oh, and we got some surprises coming up as well. Just got this in. It's acclimating. So I got to do a review on a new guitar day coming up very, very shortly right here on the channel as well. It's killing me because I wanted to get this done, but I had other priorities. So this is coming up very, very quickly. And again, so until next time, folks, it's Jimmy Stewart saying take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.